In this episode of Super Seicento, we're on fire. But that's all right, because we've got a fire extinguisher. Hello you lot, Miller Corner here and welcome back once again to Super Seicento. Now no one likes to be on fire unless you're a stunt person, and even then you probably don't like it, it's just part of the job. But if you are feeling slightly inflamed, you either need to see a doctor or your car is on fire. And if you've been keeping up with Car Trek Season 2, you'll know that old Italian car owners aren't unfamiliar with the concept of a car spontaneously bursting into flames.
I think there was an electrical fire.
Yeah, well, to avoid the Super Seicento doing that, we're going to be installing today a fire extinguisher, which is in fact a very useful thing to have in your car, either for your own car or even for someone else's. If someone else's car catches fire, if you've got a fire extinguisher, you can save their car and potentially lives. Now, the truth of the matter is, I've been carrying this fire extinguisher with me pretty much since I've been driving. I've moved it from car to car, I've kept it in all my daily drivers. It's just a useful thing to have because they're cheap, and it's cheap life insurance, if nothing else. Thing is, I've been having it in the boot of the car, and to be honest, not being able to get to it from the driver's seat sort of defeats the point of even having a fire extinguisher. It needs to be able to be grabbed from the driver's seat so you can get to it easily. And in fact, some track days won't even let you on the circuit unless you've got a secured fire extinguisher that you can grab easily in the event of the worst case scenario. So today we're going to be taking the fire extinguisher out of the boot. I've already done that bit, and we're going to be permanently mounting it in the front of the cabin so I can get to it easily while I'm driving. However, the Super Seicento does have its own unique problems, which means I've had to be a bit creative with where we're actually going to put this. There are a number of places where you can put your fire extinguisher. A Volvo 340 I drove for work recently actually had it mounted down there in the driver's footwell, pretty much mounted to that bit of the bulkhead. Now, the Super Seicento has got a very small footwell. In fact, here is my foot on the pedal. Yeah, I don't really want a fire extinguisher that close to where my foot's going to go. You could also mount it underneath the seat, obviously, but because of the unique shape of the Seicento floor pan and the fact I've got two sets of seat rails and my Fiat adjuster and my Subaru adjuster and quite a lot of crap going on under there, that ain't going to fly. So instead, we're going to be mounting it here to the centre console of the car, and it's just going to mount on there like that, and then it's going to be easy to grab for the driver, but it's not going to encroach too much on the passenger's foot space. Now, I'm going to be taking this centre console out because we need to get behind it to mount the fire extinguisher bracket to it, and for newbies, here's how you do it. This plastic cover here comes off, and underneath it you will find an Phillips head screw. The ashtray has already come out, and behind it there are two Phillips head screws in there to do, and then if you lift up your gear shift gaiter by moving your lovely knob, and normally there is a screw in there, but I've lost mine because I'm clever. Join you on the workbench. And here, for your delectation, is the centre console, which as you can probably see is absolutely disgustingly dirty. My bad. Anyway, we've got the bracket here for the fire extinguisher, and the eagle-eyed amongst you will note the fire extinguisher just over there, and it's going to be going in our centre console like that. Now, I want to put the bracket for the fire extinguisher quite far towards the back of the footwell, so you're not kicking it every single time you get in the car. But the other thing you need to do is make sure that you're not going to be hitting anything on the other side. You'll note the cigarette lighter there, and obviously if we put the screws too massive in there, we're going to go straight into the cigarette lighter and possibly through the wiring. Bad times. We've got here some lovely self-tappers, and these are going to go through this bracket like this. I'm just going to drill them through here into the center console. I'm going to use a spirit level to make sure that this is straight, because if it's not, that's going to look crap. So let's work towards having it about there. With the bracket levelled, I pencil 2 marks through the screw holes on the bracket to mark where to drill. I then check there's nothing on the other side to drill through, and with 2 self-tappers on the drill itself, with the aid of our lovely drill here, thank you Maplin, carefully make holes in the plastic. There we go. We appear to be in. Let's just spin that back. And again, if you were doing this in the car, for a start you wouldn't be able to get behind it. Also, you'd be throwing swarf everywhere from drilling the hole, and also you might potentially go through some wiring or even the chassis of your car, which is not fun. Okay, pilot holes are now drilled. Smorf slightly everywhere, but that's fine. Now we can go through with our bracket, now that the holes line up, so that's good. Go through with the screws in there like that, then we can peg it through from the other side. Having done that, the screws now need supporting. Washers are slotted over both screws from the back, and 2 decently sized speed nuts are wound on tightly to keep the bracket secure. Get the biggest speed nuts on as possible to give it the best support, and wind them on as tightly as you can. With both screws well supported, our bracket is on, and the centre console can be fitted back into the car, making sure to plug the cigarette lighter back in too. There we have it. Fire extinguisher is mounted and it's safely in there. It's not going anywhere. It's secure. I can get to it easily from the driver's seat. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how to install a fire extinguisher in your mad Seicento. I'm chuffed with that. That's a really nice little addition. Cheap, easy, great weekend project, and it could save lives. I'm calling that a win. Now, while we're on it, let's do another improvement to the interior that I've been meaning to do for a little while now. If you've been watching recently, you may remember when I installed this lovely new, second-hand, Pioneer head unit complete with Bluetooth. And I've been using it to listen to my phone, listen to my music. It's awesome. However, it does also have the ability, as denoted by this button here that you might be able to see, to take phone calls. But that's only if you plug a mic into it, which this didn't come with. Here is a microphone that I ordered online, because I went once again onto Pioneer's website, looked at the manual, saw what size the jack is for the microphone in the back of this thing, and today we're going to install it so I can take some phone calls, because of course I am a very busy executive businessman these days. Push the head unit out from behind, just to get a good look at where this mic's got to go, so we're not canoodling around the back of it. So we're going to have to get round the back of the head unit, which is, easier said than done. You might also notice, as is often the way when you buy any sort of microphone related equipment, and any of my work colleagues watching will know that our microphones come with about 8 miles of cable, that yes, this is nothing out of the ordinary. So, and you only want to run the very minimal amount, because if you run too much, you run the risk of crushing it under the very thing you're trying to plug it into. So, that microphone goes into there like that, and it makes a good solid click, so you know that's in. Right, let's push that back in there. Now, before I stick it on, I do want to make sure that it does actually work. So, I have actually changed phones since we installed the head unit. I've got a brand new 2020 iPhone SE, because I'm down with the kids these days, and I need to make sure that this is working. So, we're calling my dad.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Fantastic, I'm calling you through my stereo.
Through your stereo?
Yeah, I've just plugged the mic in. You're coming through on the speakers in the car, and I'm talking into that little microphone.
Oh, yes, nice and clear. Yeah, it's perfect.
Technology, look at that. There you go. And you're in the YouTube recording as well, so say hello to the YouTube audience.
Hello, YouTube audience.
There you
Welcome to Glastonbury.
go. Working fantastically. Thank you, sir. I shall leave you to your afternoon. Farewell. And there we have it. Dad approved. It works and everything. Microphone works. Bluetooth to my mad iPhone. Other phones are available. Brilliant. So now we can turn that off. Peel the sticky backy pad off. Final answer. Here. That actually looks pretty damn factory, if I do say so myself. There's a little crevice under the dash. I might not even need to cable tie that. That might actually be fine as is, you know. Look at that. Microphone there. Goes all the way under the dashboard. Cabling just tucks up in there. That is a rather genius bit of packaging by Fiat and myself. It's almost like this was meant to be. That is a win. All things told, that was a pretty successful afternoon. The main thing we did today was get the fire extinguisher mounted. It's one thing to have it in your car, but it's another thing to have it easy to grab. In the event of a fire, you don't want to be fumbling around in the boot, running around the car. You just want to be able to grab it, pull the clip out, press it, and hopefully, fingers crossed, stop any fires getting any worse. This can save cars and potentially lives for the sake of about 20 quid and half an hour with a drill mounting it on your centre console. Do it, it's a worthwhile improvement. Fire extinguisher maintenance is something you need to bear in mind with one of these in your car. They're not just set and forget. Some of them you've got to shake up, some you've got to check the seals, some only last for a certain period of time before you've got to buy a new one. Make sure you know what you're doing so this is its best health if, God forbid, the worst happens and you do need it. For now though, I'm going to put this back in my rather lovely custom adapted bracket, and I'll bid you farewell. Thanks very much for watching, everybody, and have a brilliant rest of your day. Catch you soon, and have a good one.